Good evening mga ka-3PM. Narito po akong muli si Peter Serrano para sa Pilipinas, Attitude Pa? An original program brought to you by 3PM Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, Pilipinas muna. And I hope everyone is doing great right now. Sabi kasi, ang Omicron daw is going to be very, very low this coming week and in the coming weeks. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is doing fine. Ako, naka-recover na, completely recovered na ako. Thank you, Lord. And doon sa mga nagre-recover pa lang, I pray for you. Doon sa mga hindi pa nagkakaroon, wag na kayo magkaroon. Be safe. Wag na kayo lumabas kung hindi kailangan. Wag muna mag-party-party because ibang klase ang Omicron. Napakabilis niyang makahawa. But that's not our issue tonight. Tonight po kasi, ang ating issue is about mainstream media and what they call job interview. Sa inano nila yan, ganun sila ka delusional. Ang job interview ng isang presidential dapat sila nagko-conduct. Wow. And we know naman how biased mainstream media is. Itong nakaraang mga araw, nangyari ang interview ni Jessica Soho with four of the presidential ball. Si Ping Lacson, si Manny Pacquiao, si Lenny Robredo at si Isko Moreno. Ako, I tried watching it. I did try to watch it. I gained energy. Yung energy ko talaga, plinace ko ng tama for me to, put my mind in the right place para no judgment, no expectation. But going through it, I knew I was going to be, parang naramdaman ko na, I'm going to be in for a mess. Because, there was no substance to it whatsoever. But, for what it's worth, na lumabas naman talaga kung ano ang kulay ng ating mga kandidato. But with the absence of BBM, syempre, yung ating sinusuportahan, lackluster yung kanilang pinakita. And to help us discuss it and look deeper into that issue, we have tonight one of social media's influencers and one of those people na talagang isa sa naging social media warrior for Duterte before and is still now doing good when it comes to his influence, putting out his opinion for us to listen to and enjoy and take lessons from. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on 3 p.m. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, Pilipinas muna, Rocky Gonzalez.
Hi, good evening, Peter, and to all your viewers, good evening to all of you.
Yes, hi Rocky, good evening. Nakakatawa yung mga usapan natin before we went on air. Anyway,
Oo
kamusta
nga.
ka for our viewers? Kumusta ka? Na-Omicron
Well,
ka rin ba? Na-biktima ka ba?
luckily hindi pa ako tinatamad, but almost everyone around me, cousins, even inside our house, meron ng tinamaan before. Just much like everyone much like everyone, not just in the Philippines, not just in Manila, Philippines, and the world, lost
Yeah,
some friends, lost some
yeah,
family, it's really what's happening. Everyone's affected by it. Grabe,
yeah.
talaga equalizer, no?
Totoo. Pero buti na lang that we are in an archipelago. So yung mga nasa malalayong lugar banda roon, hindi masyadong naapektuhan ng pandemya, hindi masyadong naapektuhan ng mga variants. Pero tayong nandito na sa NCR, tayo na nagkakawahan ng matindi. Sa Cebu also, sa Metropolis, nagkakawahan din sila ng matindi doon. And a lot of
Parang
people
geographically,
actually died in Cebu.
quarantined yung mga tao.
Yeah, actually. Thank you,
Diba?
Lord, for making our country the way it is.
Archipelagic.
Yeah, yeah. So, Rocky, nanood ka ba ng interview ni Jessica Soho for
I tried
presidential
my
poll?
best to watch through it, pero kasi I'm really not a fan of watching daytime game shows. I've never been a fan of these kinds of things. Even growing up, I would really watch short portions of Eat Bulaga, Kalatog
Yeah,
Pinggan, tells you my age, no?
yeah,
Yung mga ganyan, lunch date, small portions lang, but I can really not sit through an entire hour or more of parang a game show, variety show. Hindi
yeah.
kaya ng powers ko yan.
Pareho tayo
And
pala. Oo.
going through it, even watching snippets of it, it really felt that way, no? Parang nilalaro yung more than nilalaro yung mga candidates, parang nilalaro yung public, no?
Oo. Actually, ikaw ba, Rocky, did you feel insulted doon sa nangyari? Because I felt insulted.
Yung intelligence mo at saka yung sensibilities
It's not
mo.
just I don't want to put myself intellectually superior over anybody, but yung sensitivity mo lang as a Filipino, medyo nalagay sa alanganin, parang what the hell? Ikaw, ano ba
Ako kasi
naramdaman mo?
what was upsetting to me was the hype leading to it was so high.
Yeah.
So your expectation really was that. Plus, we came from 2016 elections where we actually had meaningful debates.
Mhm.
It was really a debate. Sumalang dyan si Duterte, sumalang si Miriam Defensor Santiago, nandun si Mar Rojas.
Marojas, si
Ang
Judge
meaningful ng debate
Magbinay.
at saka people brought their A game. Even if the arbiter was skewed or may spin, Duterte and Miriam Defensor held their own, di ba?
Yeah.
Hindi mo
Yeah.
hindi mo malaro, you could not game them. And it showed you the
Mhm,
quality of
mhm.
the discourse during that
Mhm,
time.
mhm.
For all of the bad things that people are saying about Duterte na parang gutter level daw because of the language,
Mhm,
because of the vocabulary. But the
mhm.
reality is, yung the way people think now was so refined because of the discussions that were brought forward, because of the openness to a discussion, the openness to contrarian views, at saka
Mhm.
yung bringing vulgarity to the table allowed people from the lower levels to participate in the discussion.
Mhm.
A large sector of society na hindi binibigyan ng opportunity ng mainstream media to participate in the conversation, in the national conversation, in the political conversation, suddenly had a platform na parang, if the president can talk that way, ako dati na nahihiya magsalita dahil kasi ito lang ang vocabulary ko, pero may puso at may laman yung gusto kong sabihin, hindi na ako mahihiya.
Exactly. Exactly. So Rocky, ngayong nabuksan yan, napakaganda niya sinabi mo na yan actually. Ngayong nabuksan na yung arena na yan for people to actually speak, those na very insecure before, Do you think that now we have a healthier way of talking to each other? I mean, generally kasi syempre magkakaiba tayo ng kampo. Do you think we have a healthier way of communicating to each other?
Yes. Ako kasi talaga, I believe in the sanctity of the freedom of expression.
Yes.
You have the right to feel offended in the same way that I have a right to offend you within the limitations and bounds of the law.
Yeah.
Vulgarity is a natural part of discourse. So now everyone is empowered and has a platform to discuss themselves. Yung mga dati previously excluded, previously muted portions or sectors of society now have a voice. So I think now that they are being heard, na-offend yung sensibilities. Actually, hindi sensibilities ng mga mayayaman at saka ng mga academically, intellectually elite ang na-offend. They are threatened because it's a loss of power.
Yes.
Threatened sila, particularly yung the intellectual elites who had the monopoly on the national discourse, pati yung mainstream media.
Yeah. So ngayon, na nabuksan yan, and now all people, sinabi mo nga, yung mga nilulook down ng mga ito, because whether they accept it or not, they're looking down on people. Nakikita mo naman how they talk about people na hindi nag-agree sa kanilang mga prinsipyo at sa kanilang mga paniniwala. So, ngayon na nangyayari na to, Rocky, what can we expect to happen? Ito, ang iinit na natin, November pa lang last year, maiinit na tayo. Medyo kumakalma lang tayo ngayon, pero pagdating ng February 7, kapag bumukas na ang kampanyang totoo, what do you think? What do you think would happen or could happen?
Ito premise, ang predicate nito is if COVID allows us, di ba? I think kaya rin kumalma dahil Omicron happened, right?
Yeah.
I think kaya kumalma ang lahat. COVID permitting, ako feeling ko, this is my opinion, my personal take on the 2022 elections. I think it's a totally different ball game from the 2016 elections. The 2016 elections saw, we all saw, and we all participated in it. I see you, I remember. We were all talking together. Ang context pa natin, ang link natin was Vivian. I remember, di ba? Ito yung natin talking group. May Larry Gadon, pati sa mix na yan, di ba?
Yes.
It was, everyone was, pero ito, 2016, since it was a shift, it was a very massive shift from silence or being silenced, yung mga CD&E, biglang they had a platform. So it was a warfare. Madugong-madugo. Madugong-madugo yun. It was painful. It was sobrang threatened at sobrang attacked ng mga the people who were the intellectual oligarchs at saka yung media oligarchs, the ones who had control of the discussion and the narrative, talagang inattack ng mamamayan. After that, there are no more celebrities, there are no more sacred cows. Ang taong nagyoyosi, natambay sa kanto, wala nang pakialam kung vice ganda ka, or kung presidente ka, or kung ikaw si Gabby Lopez, or ikaw si Rowena Guanzon, wala nang pakialam ang tao. Everyone now has been equalized.
Yeah.
And it is very hard for them to accept that at first. Dati sanay sila na quiet, konyo-konyo lang, quiet, cutie-cutie.
English.
English. And then, this happened. And it is a continuous 6 years of that. So ngayon, nag-reverse ang position. Yung mga tao who were attacking, who were warriors, who were militant in 2016, kumalma na because they are now the people in power. They now have control and access to Malacanang. Nag-reverse reversal of roles. Yung mga dating parang the elites suddenly became the minority voice. Yung kiniklaim nilang silent majority, ngayon minority lang pala sila, na-realize sila na minority lang pala sila. And the problem with that is, eto na, elections na ulit tayo. So we've had our fill of that. Tapos na
Yeah.
tapos na yung gera from our side. Yung mga the quiet ones before, yung mga non-participants, those who would cower before those who were literatis or glitteratis. Talagang dati when we were cowering because of their position, ngayon we had 6 years to fill our ego, to fill our need for validation na meron rin pala tayong right to speak. Kalmado na.
Yeah.
Which is why I think, personally, I feel that the market or that the country is now ready for a more temperate voice, a calmer voice, a gentlemanly voice, which to me is automatically is BBM.
He is.
Kasi messaging na lang eh. Non-confrontational.
Tapos na, kumbaga, sa sinasabi mo, nagawa na ni Duterte yung pakikipagbakbakan di ba?
Kaya nga yung rehashed narrative ni Isko na parang siga ng Tondo, nagawa na yan ng berdugo ng Davao na nakamotor. Parang wala na ba iba? It's the same playbook, ulitin mo lang. Pagod na. At saka yung mga tao, empowered na.
Yeah.
Yung mga dating, kumbaga parang dating mahirap, nagkapera na, gusto na nila legitimacy. Hindi na enough na may pera na sila at power. They want legitimacy. They want to be part of gusto na nila class na sila. Which is why we need the Marcos brand of poise, stature, statesmanship. Nandun na tayo sa stage na yan. We need to show a more calm, temperate sort of governance that will unify. Kasi notice every single one of the candidates now is claiming to be except for Ping and Pacquiao, everyone is claiming to be a unifying president. But he is the only one who is not attacking anyone.
Precisely.
Tapos sasabihin ni Lenny, she wants to unify everyone, pero sasabihin niya rin in the same interview, with the same breath, with the same interviewer Jessica Sosa, sasabihin niya, I want to unify, pero parang malabo po na mag-unify tayo sa political level, sa mga politicians. Sino pinapatamaan? Hindi ba si Isko lang rin naman na pinapatamaan niya? Meaning what? She's not willing to work with Isko? Kasi naman daw, nag-rally behind na sa kanya lahat ng mga social groups, which is what? Bigotillos for Lenny, Guapings for Lenny, Dogs for Lenny. Na ba yun? Construction workers for Lenny. Liars
for Lenny na nga lang daw ang kulang
Alam mo, ang umbrella statement lang naman talaga dyan is liars for Lenny, di ba?
Yeah.
Sinab-group pa nila, nag-subset pa sila. Wag na. Umbrella ka na lang.
So sa nakikita mong trend na nangyayari with each and every candidate, nakikita naman natin kung paano sila kumilos, hindi ba? Nakikita naman natin kung paano na pinipresent ang sarili nila sa atin. Ikaw ba? Wag na muna si BBM ang pag-usapan natin because we are quite clear on how he is and what he tries to be.
We are partisan, di ba?
We are, Wag na muna 'yon. So dun sa mga nagpipresenta other than BBM na maging pinuno ng ating bansa.
Yeah.
Sino sa natingin mo, outside of BBM sino sa tingin mo yung parang pwede mong paniwalaan at pagkatiwalaan kahit papano?
Of course, this is just my opinion,
Based
on how I pay attention to their messaging, to their actuation, to their political history. Feeling ko na pwedeng maging next president maybe after another 10 years would be Isko. Feeling ko he has the dream, the vision. Pero vision to me is a small part, is one part of the whole pie.
Yeah.
No matter what we say, no matter what we do, there are systemic or institutionalized wrongs or cogs in the wheel of the political machine na hindi ayos, na may mali. But you
Mm-mm.
need to live through it at least for the first 2 years, 3 years. You need to work within that system.
Yeah.
Ang maayos na government, na maayos talaga, is not a government that a good president now will work within. We are going to elect a president now who will need to work within a bulok system, a fractured constitution, a very problematic society. They will have to be
Mm.
elected with with that premise in mind.
Premise. But what do you think, Rocky?
And
Would you
then,
say,
legacy na
I'm
nila
sorry.
na
Mm-mm.
maayos. Feeling ko si
Mm-mm.
Isko, pwede, pero kulang pa. Kasi what? What do I feel? Like, I have to be honest, I was with his sorties last year. I attended three events niya. I was
Yeah.
backstage, I met him, talked to him, ganyan. The man has so much potential as a leader talaga, as a chief executive. Pero ang feeling ko lang, my personal take on the matter is, there are other things that a president, not just a chief executive of a government, but
Mm-hmm.
president talaga, the highest office of the land, feeling ko he is
Mm-hmm.
more than competent to be mayor for many years. Pero not
For
yet
many
for
years.
president. Kasi feeling ko, the politics that goes with it, paano mo titimplahin yung trapo, yung mga millennial, yung mga ganyan, you need to be able to balance these things. Ano ang
Mm-hmm.
willing mo ipatalo na hindi maapektuhan ang bigger dream, ang bigger vision? Ano ang willing mo i-compromise? Feeling ko hindi pa niya na ma-master yan. That part,
Well,
that
but
political part.
do you think that if ever, because kay Isko muna tayo, no? If
Mm.
ever, do you think he would ever learn how to, given
I think anyone can
given on
learn.
what he is right now, given on what he is right now, and what he displays right now?
I think what he displays, he has the potential to really learn it. But of course, we don't
Mm,
know what other factors will be affecting him within the
yeah.
next few years, that will lead
Mm,
him into the light or will, di ba, show him to the dark side of the force. We don't really know.
yeah.
Pero
Mm,
as a person holding potential and possibility and promise, nandun, he has the makings of yeah, a Duterte. He has the makings of that. But hilaw
mm,
pa now, ang layo pa, ang dami pang kulang, ang dami ko nakita behind the scenes na parang problems within yung message. If you look at it na lang campaign pa lang ang niraran niya, hindi pa buong Pilipinas. He's not
yeah.
running the Philippines as of yet. He is just managing his campaign team. Ang dami ng problema sa
Yeah.
messaging, sa choice
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
activities. Um,
Yeah.
very problematic na siya. At the onset, walang macro vision. Parang,
Mm,
ay, nasabihan ako na na inaatake ko si Duterte masyado, mawawala yung votes. Sige, ligawan natin. Ay, hindi na naman, ligawan naman natin yung anak. Ay, hindi umubra, ligawan ulit natin siya. Ay, hindi umubra, yung parang pagka bad boy natin, magpa-sexy ulit tayo, balik natin ang star factor. Ay, hindi umubra, ito naman malinis. Ang dami.
yeah.
Walang clear vision.
Probably because it's a question of integrity, Rafi, no? Do you believe that? Na kaya medyo nalilito siya sa kanyang gustong gawin sa buhay because sa akin I don't know if you will agree with me, medyo questionable yung integrity eh.
Grabe yung integrity. Sige nga, Peter, like what? Ako
Hindi,
kasi
for
may mga personal
example,
issues din ako with him eh.
yeah, hindi ako for example lang for the longest time, yung nagkakampanya siya to become a mayor, President Duterte was there to support him. Of course, President Duterte had good words about him. He presented. He even gave him a job as part of his cabinet members. Tapos, syempre, people got to know him. Of course, he was a celebrity. Tapos nung last year, out of nowhere, he began attacking the president. And it's not something that you do to somebody who placed you where you are, because no matter how he tries to deny it, ako kasi ang naging problema ko, tinulungan ka ni President Duterte, gave you a job when you were jobless, and catapult you to the position you're in right now. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, you began attacking the president for reasons only he knows. 'Di ba? Walang pinanggalingan eh. So doon ako medyo may problema when it comes to integrity. Okay lang yung nakipagdiskusyon ka eh. Sa akin, kung bawa nagkaroon sila ng diskusyon ni President Duterte or misunderstanding, and that's understandable. Hindi naman lahat ng tao dapat maganda ang samahan. Pwede kayo magdiskusyon, pwede kayo magdiskurso, pwede kayo may hindi pagkaunawaan. Pero yung banatan mo yung taong tumira sa'yo as if, diba, doon ko question ang integrity niya as
kasi ang
a politician.
Ang dating sa akin sa akin, this is just my guess. I don't know. Is it possible that that happened as a strategy? Kasi this happened, sabi nga, before the filing, di ba, of the candidacies. It seemed to me, I don't know if I'm right, I may be wrong, pero parang ang feeling ko, it was in a bid to be perceived by the public as the opposition candidate. Opposition, parang ako yung anti-Duterte bigla. Parang it was a position, there was a vacuum for that. Everyone wanted that position because, come on, let's be honest, although Leni Robredo was the VP for the past 6 years, no one can see her as president naman talaga. She's not presidentiable. She bears no qualities that will, alam mo, ang sa akin kasi that character, si Leni Robredo, is such a conflicted character. Na parang ano siya, parang one-woman show. Parang pwede siyang vagina monologues, ganyan. Parang siya lang. Tapos siya si angry vagina, siya si happy vagina. Alam mo yun, lahat.
Yeah.
One-woman show. Kasi parang gusto niyang mag-perform, gusto niya sanang as the secretary she wanted, pero parang nabulungan, hindi, wag mong gawin yan. Dahil kasi parang baka ma-perceive ka ng public as nag-give in ka sa government. Hindi, ayoko na, kukontrahin ko na. Tatanggalin ka kasi ayaw mo tumulong sa gobyerno eh. Diba? Ako sa akin,
but we will get to her later. We will get to her later.
Yun nga, balikan lang natin kay Isko bago natin.
Balikan natin si Isko.
Sa akin, ang ko lang kay Isko is parang feeling ko, he was posturing, parang artista na parang mumurahin ko yung administrasyon para ako na ang opposition candidate. Ako na yung anti-government. Yun yung dating sa akin. I thought it was, if he was able to swing it, kung nag-give in si Leni Robredo, kung nag-give in siya, ayaw pakawala ni Leni Robredo yung presidency eh. Hindi naman niya makukuha talaga. Kung nag-give in siya, pwedeng na-unite talaga under Isko eh. Una, gwapo. Pangalawa, charming. Pangatlo, may napakita na solid, na quantifiable. Merong na-achieve within Manila. Now, if it will translate into a larger national context, we really don't know. Because he has no national experience, right?
Yeah.
So we really have no basis.
He had a national experience. He ran for senator and lost.
Exactly. So, parang wala pa tayong mapanghawakan na gano'n. But if we peg it on what he has achieved as a mayor, parang pwede. So, nag-posture na siya. Parang, lahat tayo. Dilaw, blue, green, purple, white, orange. May orange dati, di ba, si Villar? Ako na ang kakalaban kay Duterte. I will sacrifice my long-standing friendship. Kasi friendly sila eh, di ba?
I know.
For the longest time, they were friendly. And then suddenly, just before the filing of candidacy, biglang
he began yakking.
Biglang ganon. Parang it seemed like to me, it seemed like parang a gimmick na pag may pelikula kang lalabas, biglang magkakaroon ng biglang magkakatampuhan yung love team, biglang may third party, parang ganon, parang pelikula, parang if it's from Seiko it must be good, parang ganyan, di ba? Parang it's that gimmickry that comes with a movie that is about to happen. Biglang na in love ako, parang ganyan. Parang ganon.
Yeah. But do you think...
ako, biglang ako na ang siga ng tundo. Although, yun naman talaga part of his packaging. And people expect that of him. Pero yung biglang mumurahin mo yung long-standing friendship mo over some trivial matter, it seemed
Precisely.
posturing to me. It seemed like he was posturing and gunning
Yeah.
for the position of the opposition candidate, the anti-admin candidate.
But don't you think it was stupid for him to do that? I mean, I'm using that word stupid because if it is a strategy, I think it is a stupid strategy. It was a stupid strategy to begin with because nakikita mo naman how strong the support of the majority of the Filipinos kay President Duterte. Why would you even think that you can surpass that?
I'm a firm believer talaga in a mixed government. Hindi ako naniniwala na parang, lalo na with Senate and Congress, I feel that there is a need for opposition to have a seat in the table, para maririnig natin ang contrarian view. Para hindi maging complacent, hindi maging
Yes,
echo
yes.
chamber, parang ganyan. So there's really room for opposition, an opposition candidate, and he really wanted that role. Now, it seems a stupid gimmick. It now just looks like a petty gimmick kasi hindi tumalab. Hindi
Hindi
lumusot.
tumalab eh.
Ayaw pakawala ni Lenny ang presidency. Kasi kung nag-giveaway siya, hindi naging tanga yung that strategy. Kung nag-giveaway si Lenny at binato niya lahat ng boto niya kay Isko, edi wow. Parang ganyan, di ba? Then nakuha na ni Isko yung 3%, parang ganyan, di ba? Buong una yung 3% sa kanya, di ba?
Yeah.
Diba? Naging comedy tuloy dahil kasi nag-gamble siya. He gambled on it. He gambled a friendship, he gambled a political alliance, he gambled so many votes ang sinugal niya. Hindi nag-click. It just didn't click.
Ako, Rocky, yung isa sa nakita ko dun sa ginawa niya na yon was, ako nabastusan ako. Because ako nabastusan ako because I would rather, ako lang correct me if I'm wrong, I would rather that you question a certain policy if you want to become an opposition. You question policies, you question, especially may pandemic tayo you question everything that is happening kasi alam naman natin na not a single country was ready to face the pandemic. But kung medyo matalino yung tao sa paligid mo, you can go around you can go around so many things para makriticize mo ang gobyerno and the policies being made during the pandemic or the policies being made sa pandemic when it comes to so many things. I would rather sana na he did that rather than yung kachipan na corrupt, magsuntukan tayo sa tundo. What the hell was that? Kasi nga, di ba, naaalala mo yung nagginawang speech ni President Duterte nung kanyang huling SONA when he talked about yung ginawang pagpipapapila ni Isko dun sa mga tao sa gitna ng baha para magpa-vaccinate yung mga tao. And alam mo naman si President Duterte, he doesn't like people being oppressed and getting in those kinds of situations. So kinall out siya. The easiest way to do, di ba, for me, the easiest way to go around it is to apologize and, di ba, castigate the people na medyo na pumalpak doon sa kanyang city kasi sa Manila nangyari yung pilahan na gano'n And then just apologize. Why do you have tama naman yung sinasabi ni Tatay Digong. Mali naman talaga yung ginawa mo. Di ba?
Lalangoy ka sa baha para ma-injectionan.
Pag syempre pag naulanan ka, nababad ka sa ulan, nababad ka sa baha, bababa ang immune system mo. Pag saksak sa ng bakuna,
during Ulysses,
babagsak ang immune system mo lalo, di ba? Pagka sinaksakan ka ng bakuna, ano na mangyayari doon sa tao? Pwede pa ikamatay, hindi ba? So,
I have a theory
ahead.
about that, kung bakit nagkaganyan. Two things. First is, yung mga ganyan na antics, I fully blame the comms team of Isko Moreno. It's their fault. Dahil kasi they are supposed to strategize the messaging, the branding, and supposed to filter and edit all of these things. So that's one. The second is, di ba kanina we were talking about how Duterte has empowered people and then yung mga dating nasa taas. Ito yung problem dyan. Bakit ganyan nakababa ang antics ng opposition? Bakit naghahadoken na si Lenny? Bakit si Isko ganyan na, di ba? Na parang ang hahaba ng mga, but alam mo yun, why?
Yeah.
Because the opposition candidates are frantic. They cannot understand how it happened. Overnight, the reversal of fortune, di ba? Nag-reverse talaga ang positions. Sila dati ang elite, silang maingay, sila yung wala, the masses were silent and were subservient to these academics, to these wealthy, actually nga wealthy, the middle class talaga to, the noisy middle class. Ngayon, the wokes, di ba? Hindi nila ma-understand. They were trying to replicate the process of how Duterte achieved it. Akala nila vulgarity was it. Akala nila posturing ni Duterte, yung mga stunts with a jet ski to the islands. Akala nila that was the formula. And the problem is, I think because of their inability to comprehend how they lost their power, nag-devolve. Devolution ito ng
Oh,
ng
yeah,
opposition.
yeah.
Notice the conversation and the quality of exchanges that are brought forth, or argumentations that are used by the opposition. Sobrang baba ng content. Walang points of argumentation, lahat ad hominems, wala nang lahat logical fallacies, walang quality. Why? They are
Yeah.
trying to replicate the magic. And in doing so, they have lost their one edge, which was they're educated, that they were poised. They lost their cool and they totally lost it. Nag-devolve ang opposition. So, tama ba yung messaging ni Isko? I think tama. Doon sa mga nag-devolve na opposition side, tama sa kanila yun. Dahil ganun eh. Because ang mindset nila, uulitin namin ng 2016, but the world has moved on. The
Yeah.
Philippine population has moved on. Yung mga dating parang tambay lang sa kanto na walang pakialam, tumalino na. Now everyone is politicized. Maski yung lasinggero sa kanto na nagpapashot sa'yo, politicized na lahat. And the vocabulary might not be there, might not be up to par with the rest of us, but sila have very strong opinions and actually have logical basis to their positions.
Exactly, Rafi.
Diba?
I believe you when it comes to that.
They
Yeah.
have a logical basis to their positions. And since the opposition are now grasping at straws, what happened? How did it happen? Ngayon lang nila na-realize na kailangan nilang i-analyze what happened. Ano na? Anong oras na? It is the 11th hour. We are almost election season na.
Yun nga sinasabi ko, Rafi, I always say this dito sa program. The best thing that happened in the Duterte administration and in his presidency and his candidacy was everybody now have voices. Nagka-boses lahat ng tao, like what you're saying right now. And it's wonderful.
Exactly.
As what you're saying, it doesn't matter how you say your opinion so long as you have it.
Yes.
Yeah,
At saka,
yeah.
yung disenfranchisement ng dating intellectual elites, political elites, economic elites, they are disenfranchised. Why? Because the truth is they're not. It's just that the ones that they look down on are now rising to their level. They no longer have a monopoly, and they are not capable of understanding and capable of accepting the fact that we have now been equalized by Duterte's vulgarity, by his brand of governance, na parang yun yung dati, di ba? Yan yung messaging nila. Presidente ba yan? Ba't ganyan magsalita? On the upside, ang nangyari ngayon, yung mga ganyan magsalita now feel that they should study, they should have logical basis for their positions, na kahit ganito ako magsalita, may karapatan pa rin ako magsalita.
Karapatan, yes. That's the word, karapatan.
Dati wala. Dahil kasi ang tinuro sa atin ng mga intellectual elites, at saka yung mga economic elites, what they taught us is, if you do not have the correct vocabulary, if you do not possess the proper intonation, pronunciation, the twang, then you shouldn't speak at all.
Yeah.
But the people now are no longer are willing to accept that anymore. They were able to spring out of the box. Parang they left the cave, di ba? The metaphor of the cave, the allegory of the cave. Lumabas na sila, they're no longer in the cave. And they're not willing to go back. Hindi sila takot of their own shadow. They're willing to
No
have
one
their
should.
moment
No
in the
one should.
sun. Diba? And they should. Why should they not have a right to speak or participate in politics, in governance when they're heavily affected by it?
Ngayon, dumaan na tayo kay Isko na pagdaanan na natin ng bahagya si Lenny Robredo. Ano ngayon sino after Isko, sino ang pangalawa mo na nakikita mong pwede mong pagkatiwalaan?
Dun sa top 5 lang? Or kasama
Sa
lahat?
Wala na nga si BBM eh. In-exit na natin si BBM.
Sa top 4 lang.
Top 4 lang. Oo.
Hindi nakasama sila Liodi, hindi nakasama sila
No more.
Oh, yun lang 4. After
four lang.
Isko, I'll probably, possibly, maybe Ping Lacson.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, I don't know enough about Ping Lacson to make a what do you call this, an informed decision as to why him. Pero based on his PR strategy, based on the way he conducts his interviews, and based on the way he is political in front of different types of people, hindi siya pedantic, hindi siya condescending. A lot of people question yung pumunta sila sa Bohol, pumunta sila sa humarap sa yung sa West Philippine Sea. Sabi, hindi ka ba na-corny yan? Sabi ko, I don't think so. Sa akin, personally it needs to be done eh. And if he feels, kasi ako I'm not one to judge kung ano yung end goal. Dahil kasi there is such a thing as strategy, di ba? Ako kasi I keep telling the people who listen to me or follow me, I keep telling them, alam mo, we always have a wish list kung sino ang mga gusto natin iboto. Pero, at the end of the day, you only get to choose the names on the ballot. Like ako talaga, BBM is not my first choice. My first choice is Manang Amy Marcos. That is my dream. She is my dream president. If I had my way, she would be my president, and my VP actually wouldn't even be Sara. My dream vice president is Lucy Torres. Yan ang dream ko. This is my dream.
Ang beautiful nung dream mo, ha? Amy Marcos and Lucy Torres.
At saka hirap kalabanin ng ng liberal minds. Paano mo naman na-atake ng feminist ticket? Diba?
Yeah.
How do you attack a feminist ticket? Diba? Anyways, sa akin, these are dreams. Diba? Pero, you only get to vote the names on the list, on the ballot. The best every year. Sabi ko nga, even if I have things that I no longer am aligned with, kay Duterte, merong mga things, I'm not happy with DOH, I'm not happy with the way some of the people in the PNP conduct themselves, lalo na nung lockdown. There are so many things na that I am not happy with. But if I went back in 2016, knowing and having all of yung mga heartache, sama ng loob, yung mga galit ko sa current condition, I would still vote him. Even if I don't like him anymore like I did before. But if I went back in time, I would still vote him because he is the best name in that ballot. He is the one who is he is the best choice from the choices. Same thing now. If I were to organize it, it would be BBM first, and then Isko, and then Ping Lacson. Why? Kasi,
actually, we have the same path when it comes to choosing the first three. Yeah, pero I would go for Ping my second and Isko third. But at least there are.
Why Ping? Why is Ping your second?
Because I met the man. Because I met him, I spoke with him, and I got to pick his brains because we did a movie about him. Yung 10,000 Hours ni Robin Padilla, I was the artistic consultant for that. So, si Joyce Bernal, who was the director, and me, went and speak with Senator Lacson. And the way he conducts himself, the way he speaks, and the way, kasi ang haba yung conversation went for about 2 hours or more. So, ang dami-dami namin pinag-usapan, napunta na kami sa kalokohan and everything. So, Oo, tapos yung seryoso, balik sa seryoso. I like the man, actually.
Mm-mm.
I like the man. So, but, given, ang kaya ko siya inilagay sa pangalawa, one, is, sabi nga, because I met him, but I am not going to be choosing him over BBM because na questionable na rin for me how he conducts himself right now, na parang ganun din yung strategy niya parang kay Isko din, na parang gusto niya maging opposition, so tinawag niyang sayang si Duterte, parang bakit sayang, and there was no explanation about it. So ganun lang naman, but I met the man, that's why pangalawa ko siya. And third si Isko because I also know Isko. We used to be friends when we were young, and I got to speak with him, be with him, inuman, kwentuhan, and as far as I am concerned, he shouldn't be in politics, but he is now. So I just have to take it in. Yeah. But right now, ako, pupunta na tayo dun sa dalawang huli. Pagsabayin na natin, because parang pareho kasi si Manny tsaka si Lenny. Pagsabayin na natin yung analogy natin dun sa last two. Ano ang take mo sa kanila? Unahin natin si Manny Pacquiao.
Si Manny kasi sa akin, I think he has a heart for service. Gusto niyang magsilbi. And I think it is a mistaken notion that you have to be in politics to do charity work, to serve.
To serve.
'Di ba? I think parang mali yung career trajectory niya. I think what he wants is to give back. Na parang coming from poverty, coming from nothing, and then now he has everything, being a billionaire and all of that. I don't know if he'll still be a billionaire after the elections, because, di ba?
I doubt it.
So, if he wants to serve, alam mo kasi dati, you come from theater, di ba? Alam mo yan, during the romance era, full career ang being a philanthropist.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be a career. He should have just been a philanthropist.
It still is, actually. There are a lot of philanthropists like the Ayalas.
Pero kasi sila, they're technocrats too, and bureaucrats, parang ganyan. Pero he could have just focused on being a philanthropist. And that's
exactly.
It. Wala nang government, wala nang religion, ganyan. Philanthropy na lang. Kasi nandun naman Tapos meron ng First Lady appeal si Madam Jinky, di ba?
Yeah.
They could have done that. They could have been a philanthropist specifically for housing. It seems that he has a passion for housing. Jinky has a passion for beauty and for fashion, diba? She's fashioning herself to be like an Imelda. Why not? Why not contribute to culture or fashion shows? Mukhang ganong klaseng art ang gusto niya. Dun ka. Pageantry and fashion, diba? Work on that. Wag na mag-politics. I think he has a heart for service, but then it is not enough for him to be in politics.
And I don't think he's psychologically and intellectually designed to be a politician.
Oo, I think pwede pa nga kung gusto niya ng ganyan, gusto niya ng sense of power. Kasi, of course, sa philanthropy, walang power. Diba? Kung gusto power, sana tayo na lang siya ng simbahan niya. Ganyan. Pwede rin yun.
Yeah. Pastor.
Pwede siya magtayo ng kulto. Ganyan. Diba?
Sobra ka naman. I believe naman that his heart is into reading the Bible. Medyo misguided lang.
Yeah, I mean, he can start his own church. Diba? Why not?
Yeah. Patawa ako sa kulto.
Diba? Just to make it funny and campy, diba?
Yeah. So I think so malinaw tayo to that Manny Pacquiao has no whatsoever making of a president.
Oo. Actually, hindi nga. Not even for Senate. And of course, syempre, mas lalo hindi judiciary, diba? I don't think he has the makings for politics. In any scale. Pero
in any scale.
Kasi everything naman is political. Pero I think he would have better served his desires and his need to give back to the community as a philanthropist, or if not, start his own church. Meron naman siyang parang inclinations for mga right-wing position, di ba?
Yeah.
At least he will be totally forgiven for his position against the LGBT community. Pwede. Why not? You have the right to believe that within your sect,
In
within
your
your
church,
belief, o, di
within
ba?
your sect.
They stay
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Do not, muntik lumabas eh. Pero sabihin ko na, do not inflict on us your your biases and your
Yeah,
prejudices,
yeah.
not on a national scale, lalo na.
Yeah.
Di ba? I think he is best suited for those kinds of things. Philanthropy. Alam mo, ang isa pa niyang pwede, he could have started a school. He could have started a
Mhm.
school. Pwede yan eh. Yung they could be patrons of those kinds of things.
Yeah. Because he
Parang
was
board of director ng
uneducated
isang school.
and he could have
Ganyan.
just, yeah.
Tsaka may
Maganda yung
politics
point.
din doon. May energy, may power play. Yung that kind of energy and dynamics that if he enjoys that, school would have been perfect.
Yeah, perfect. And now let's go to the last one with let's go to Lenny. Kasi sinabi mo na sa kanya na she will never become the president.
Because I feel like she has paid her dues. She has done everything that she can do. Nasagad na niya ang kakayanan niya or yung preparation na pwede niyang gawin sa maximum ng kaya talaga ng kanyang genetic destiny. Hanggang dyan na lang talaga ang kaya ng kanyang DNA to achieve her intellectual potential, her physical potential, her emotional potential. Andyan na siya. Ito na nga, hinog na siya, kumbaga. She is ripe for whatever destiny she is hoping to achieve. But the thing is, I don't think that destiny has it in for her to become the leader of a country. May kausap ako this afternoon. We were talking about this. We were talking about Lenny Robredo. And I said, since she is obviously partisan, she is obviously hunger for popularity, she is obviously very heavy on advocacy. Hindi kasi hindi macro ang tingin niya rin, hindi lahat balansyado. Meron lang siya talaga specific advocacies at yun lang. Hindi yung mga ibang parts, mga ibang, let's say if you were in the executive, may mga parts like national defense, like agrarian reform, like DICT, nakitang-kita mo na, like the Muslim community, like the arts, kitang-kita mo nang mapapabayaan. Very specific ang mga advocacies niya. Dapat
Ano ba ito? Ako kasi hindi ako aware sa kung ano man ang advocacy niya eh. Ano ba ito?
Well, ako kasi nagre-research talaga ako specifically about her because I really don't like her. Ako meron talaga akong bias against her.
Okay.
But I did my research. It seems, based on yung mga laws na in-advocate niya, na hindi niya rin maalala pag ini-interview siya,
Yeah.
ng mga laws, it seems that most of them are really directed towards women and female empowerment. Parang doon yung direksyon.
But that's so general.
Exactly. So that's why I think she is best suited kung gusto pa rin niya in politics. Pwede siya. Unlike Pacquiao, pwede siya mag-politics pero she should be a congresswoman, a senator,
She
at the
was.
most. Dapat doon na lang. Hanggang doon lang talaga. No matter how hard you try to squeeze her for anything beyond that, parang ito na eh. Yun ay, at her peak, that's it. That's all you can squeeze out of her. Congresswoman or a senator.
Okay. Now, given na na-assess na natin yung ating mga senatorial balls, ating presidential balls, pupunta tayo, Rocky, kasi nga, ngayon, ang yabang-yabang nung sinabi na job interview daw yung gustong mangyari ni Jessica Soho sa mga presidential balls. Yung parang, I don't think GMA7 is shelling out the salary for the president. or you will shell out the salary for the president for you to have the audacity to call it a job interview. So, given ditong nangyari na interview at ang pagmamalaki, ako tingin ko doon pagmamalaki ni Jessica Soho sa gusto niyang mangyari. Ano ang take mo sa nangyayari sa mainstream media ngayon? Ano ang nasaan na sila? At saan sila papunta?
Ganyan din. Ako ang feeling ko kasi since the rise of the bloggers ng 2015, 2016, and 2017,
Mm-mm.
Ganon din, just like the rest of the opposition, mainstream media, just like the clergy, yan, alam mo yun, the three other estates, di ba? The classical estates,
Yeah.
government, church, the public, and then of course, media, di ba?
Media, the
Nag,
fourth estate.
the
Yeah.
fourth is, feeling ko nag-devolve din ang media. Why? Kasi I remember 2017, way back 2017 when kami, yung mga bloggers who were very active at that time, we were
Mm-hmm.
invited to cover ASEAN, to cover SONA.
Mm-hmm.
Nandun ako, I was one of the bloggers invited for Train Law 1, Train Law 2,
Yeah, yeah.
restructuring of SSS, may
Mm-hmm.
nilaunch. Ayun, I was active in all of those things. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Grabe ang galit ng mainstream media na parang, why are bloggers here? They are not legitimate journalists.
Journalists.
They're not journalists. They do not subscribe to any particular code of conduct. Hindi sila governed by any
Wow.
law. Ganyan. And since ganon, parang unfair daw yung playing field.
Mm.
Totoo naman. Kasi sila parang, if they subscribe to, let's say, yung Magna Carta for Journalism, at saka yung freedom of expression laws natin, all of those things, that they are bound to and bound by. Lalo na kung member sila ng KBP, NUJP, yung mga ganyan. So, dapat talaga, they have to be balanced, right to reply, all of those things, they have to follow. Wala naman tayong laws governing social media.
Social media.
Walang law. Nag-propose, I remember way back 2017, nag-propose ang mga opposition. Ang funny kasi, because during that time, when I was still very active blogging ng mga ganyan, ng events.
Yeah, yeah. I follow you.
Thank you. When I was still active doing those kinds of things, before I went back to corporate, may proposal. And makikita mo talaga that it became a battle between SOCMED and TradMed. So it would seem, without meaning to be that way, nagkaroon ng lines were drawn. It became SOCMED was pro-admin and it became TradMed automatically positioned themselves as anti-admin. Why? Because feeling nila hindi balanced ang reporting ng SOCMED. But they also discount the fact that there were a lot of anti-administration social media platforms. Rappler being the first, hindi nga daw sila di ba? Hindi naman daw sila traditional media. Rappler is one. And then there are a lot of very famous anti-administration bloggers, Raisa Robles, Alan Robles, Noemi Dado, ang dami niyan.
Ang dami din.
Actually, behind the scenes, everyone was, lalo na nung SONA, nung ASEAN, we were all friendly with each other. Yung mga bloggers, even the anti-admin ones, because of course, this is just reporting, or if not, editorials. Ako kasi I'm an editorial writer. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a journalist. I'm an editorial writer. I write opinion pieces.
Yes.
So, the lines were drawn. Everyone took a side. Pero behind the scenes, we were friendly. We were friendly and we were very professional with each other. But the traditional media, talagang no. Because the power is ours. We are the legit and you are illegitimate. We have position, we have ganyan. I may not have graduated mass communications, but I graduated.
I did.
College. I know. Although I used to see you on campus in theater council all the time, Dulang UP. That's where I would see.
Well, I did not graduate from UP. I was just an actor for Dulang UP for straight 11 years.
That's where I would see you nga eh. That's why, di ba? So anyways, parang even though, but all of us naman, most of us were college graduates and we all come from good schools. My first 2 years was UP and then I finished in LaSalle. Alam mo yun, we are all educated here. And lalo na ako kasi I'm aside from being a writer and a blogger, I teach literature. Which is why ako talaga editorial pieces. I feel defeated when I try to write something that is just all facts and rote memory. I really like the creatives. Nandun talaga ako. Pero yun na nga, traditional media, parang hindi, ayaw namin. So nag-propose sa PCOO ang mga anti-admin na parang, edi mag-ano tayo, magkaroon tayo ng parang ano, parang licensing para mapulis. Magkakaroon ng ano ng parang it's like an exam for everyone who wants to be a journalist or a writer.
Seriously?
Merong proposal na ganyan. Nag-propose sila lahat.
Okay.
Pre-propose yan sa government na parang a bar exam or a board exam. Actually, kami, even the pro-admin ones, sa akin okay eh. I remember yung mga anti dyan, mga sikat na vloggers na pro-Duterte. Pero sa akin it was okay. Why? One, kasi ako I'm really for, ang stand ko kasi with politics is, every time the elections are over, tama ng gera. Tapos na eh.
Yeah.
Mag-away-away tayo, let's slug it out up to the very last second. Talagang out for blood. The very end niyan, talagang wala na. Talagang ad hominem na, atakihan na, murahan na, go na. But once a president has been placed
Elected.
in Malacanang, support na tayo. Ako, I have to be honest, even though I did not vote for Pinoy, the first 2 years ni Pinoy, I supported him. Presidente ng Pilipinas yan eh.
Precisely.
OFW ako nun. Without wanting to be political, I had to be political because my only access and my only protection abroad would be the Philippine government.
Precisely.
So, even if I was anti...
And it wasn't nice to antagonize your own country that time.
Exactly, di ba?
Okay.
So, ako, even though I'm anti-Aquino, but he was elected president.
Precisely.
I really supported for the first 2 years. Mostly naman talaga, I really support for the first 2 years. Even yung mga friends ko nga who were campaigning him na parang, ay, pangit ng ng SONA. Sabi ko, as an OFW, maganda sa akin yung SONA. Why? Because there are so many sound bites ni Pinoy that I can use against people who would oppress me abroad or in foreign shores. So, I support. I fully believe that. So, sabi ko, I thought that ID system would parang pagbigyan na natin ang anti-admin para feeling nila hindi sila naiisahan. Kung pumasa tayo, di pumasa. Kung hindi pumasa, hindi pumasa. Kasi I'm confident na sa kanila rin, maraming hindi papasa. At meron mang papasa, biglang mababawian ng lisensya na yan kasi unethical practices. Because a law works both ways. It polices everyone.
But that goes against everything they represent when ang advocacy nila is freedom of expression.
Sila pa
diba?
nag-suggest niyan.
Can you imagine?
Ganun sila ka-threatened. So, now I go back to your question. Kung bakit ganyan ang mainstream media, ganyan ka-threatened way back 2017. And it all went downhill for them since then. So who are we looking at right now? What Jessica Soho character are we looking at? Sino na yung mga Karen Davila, Jessica Sohos now in today's Philippine society? Are they still whole? Are they still the vanguards of information and news in the Philippines? Hindi na.
Hindi na.
So many people no longer subscribe to these networks. Like kami. Si Daddy kasi actively anti-ABS-CBN yan. Kasi syempre DDS si Daddy. So kami, when we have dinner, it's the only time na naka-off yung Netflix since lockdown. White noise ang GMA sa background. White noise. We're there to listen to the COVID updates, the lockdown updates, parang ganyan. Pero to watch exposés, opinions, and shows nila, even yung mga lifestyle, nila, yung mga community-directed programming, wala na. No one is interested, lalo na in the age of TikTok. Wala na.
Oh, yeah.
Na-conquer na tayo ng China through TikTok. Everyone is more interested sa mga nahuhubad na mga tao doon. At saka yung nagduduet-duet na
I don't have a TikTok account. I swear, I don't have a TikTok account.
Ako, I only started last year. Tapos doon lang rin, kasi I used to watch mukbang a lot on YouTube, lalo na no lockdown. Nung
mukbang is the ones, the people
kumakain.
who eat a lot.
Ngayon, when I went to TikTok, mas madali kasi instant gratification na igsi eh. Ang iksi lang niya. So mas madali. I
Mm.
feel like I can do more with it. Remember how we were all trying to create schedules in our life during the lockdown?
Oh, yeah.
Forcing ourselves to have like a sense of normalcy. Parang ganyan, di ba? So, ganun din yung nangyari sa mga sa journalists. Balikan natin yung question mo. Doon sa
Yeah.
journalists, nag-devolve. The power is no longer there. I don't know how many people are still, I don't have the data on how many people are still patronizing them. Patronizing as they really actively watch the show. Understand? Kami kasi it's on. But it's white noise. It's in the background. Para
Yeah.
lang, feeling mo there's another person in the room.
Yeah, yeah.
But no one really watches it. Kasi everyone who wants information na mabilisan goes to Facebook, goes to Google, goes to YouTube. Everyone's on the feed.
Yeah. Kagaya
Yun.
nga na sinabi ng isa sa mga ka-3PM natin kanina, ano na parang hindi na reliable Hindi na reliable, one, because nakita natin ang bias nila. Hindi ba
Yeah.
the mainstream media they've been very biased. Parang pag may magandang ginagawa ang gobyerno na marami, hindi nila pinipicture. Pero a mistake that the government will commit, of course, any government will commit a mistake, wow! At talaga namang spread, talaga namang kung i-feature nila, walang hanggan. So nakita ng mga tao yan. And
Which
it
is
is
why,
not nice.
which is why mainstream media, ang embodiment niyan in these elections, ang representative niyan is Leni Robredo. Siya talaga, she is the face of all of the traditional media, traditional politics, no matter how hard
Yeah.
she poses as parang millennials folks, it's not. She's really not. She's really traditional politician, traditional media. Ang pinaka-classic na nag-embody niyang pagiging, yung sinasabi mo na parang they're so biased, simple. Napaka-political pa nga na sagot ni Lenny. Tinanong siya, di ba? Tinanong siya ni Jessica sa Lenny, regarding COVID response, ano ang masasabi mo na magandang nagawa ng gobyerno and what can be improved? Napaka-political ng answer, napaka-plastic ng answer. Sabi niya, marami namang nagawang maganda, but she did not identify a single one. And then
Because she
went on
wasn't
attacking.
aware.
Sinabi niya na parang, madami namang nagawang maganda, pero kasi ang mga dapat ayusin, kailangan ng mas mabilis na response. Why? Sa akin one, hindi niya talaga alam kung ano yung maganda sa gobyerno. Pangalawa, ang plastic ng pagkakasabi, maraming maganda pero actually wala siyang nagagandahan. She said that para lang to seem fair. Because the question is attempting to be fair. So, tell us something good and tell us something bad. She wouldn't even commit to one thing that she can expressly say na parang magandang nagawang ganito. Hindi siya willing to concede anything. She
It's
wasn't
either
willing to
hindi
say
siya
one
willing
thing.
or she is not aware of anything.
Both. I think it's both. Kasi I think she's really so locked within her echo chamber
Yeah.
na puro sycophants, puro mga yes man and yes women na nakapaligid lang sa kanya. She is so ill-informed with how the market is, on how the people, the feeling of the people. Wala, she is totally lost. At saka yun talaga, nainis ako na, I'm sure there is something. Kasi alam niya kung anong mga atakihin niya na parang mabagal ang kilos, mabagal ang response, hindi nag-lock ng border. Yan yung mga in-enumerate niya. Knowing what was happening in the lockdown. At saka, hindi ba parang yung mga ginagawa niyang yung program ng VP's office is parang, ano kaya ang gagawin ni Duterte? Nagbigay siya ng 10 face mask at 5 PPE. O gagawin natin 11 na face mask and 6 na PPE para pag nakita, mas magaling ako. So alam niya Alam niya talaga. Alam niya yung ginagawa niya. Alam niya rin kung ano yung maganda. Ang ginagawa niya is ayaw niya mag-concede ng one thing. She wasn't willing. She is not able to be a unifying person. She's not willing to compromise. She's not even willing to concede one point na kahit ano na lang na maganda. Wala siyang kayang sabihin. Hindi, marami. Pero wala siyang masabi kahit isa.
Ang ayoko kasi kay Lenny Robredo, ako Rocky, ang ayoko lang kay Lenny, ang ayoko talaga pala kay Lenny Robredo. She detaches herself from the government. She is part of the government. She is the freaking vice president of this country. Every time she speaks about the government, she speaks like the government should do this, the government should do that,
Oh,
the
as the
government should
enemy.
be like this. It's like she's parang, darling, you are the vice president. Why don't you call Malacanang and give them your suggestion?
She's rallying support nga against the government from external forces, di ba?
Exactly.
Siniraan
So,
sa
so,
United Nations, sinusuportahan ng
yeah.
ICC.
Yeah. Everything that will really destroy the country, yun ang sinusupport niya eh. And I do not understand the waiting for the government to fail.
Well,
And the want for the government to fail. I mean, I have been saying this with my post. If this government fails, all of us will fail with it.
well, kasi naman, di ba? By law, the vice president is a reservist lang yan eh.
Yeah.
Na until the president dies or needs replacement, she will not be activated. Meron siyang maliit
Precisely.
na budget para lang ma-maintain
Yes.
yung staff niya, para meron
Yeah.
siyang ganyan, may place. Pero actually, she has no job. The government isn't even legally or morally obligated, constitutionally obligated to appoint her to any position.
To any position,
No one is
precisely.
required to give her anything to do except to wait.
Yeah.
To wait for the
Yeah.
failure of the president or the government. So doesn't it actually make sense that she wants the government or the president to fail para magkaroon ng purpose yung life niya? Yung existence niya.
She could have, but what she did to herself, I think, what she did to herself is she made herself a waste of space because instead of, binigyan naman siya eh. From before eh, ginawa siyang secretary ng National Housing.
Dalawa or tatlo?
Diba?
Nilipat-lipat siya, di ba?
Nilipat-lipat siya eh, tapos tinanggal siya because wala pa nga siya doon sa posisyon kung ano na yung sinasabi niya.
Exactly.
Hindi pa nga
Diba?
siya nakakapag-meeting kung ano na yung sinasabi niya, wala pa nagagawa. How can you trust a secretary like that?
Exactly.
So tinext siya na hindi na siya pina-attend ng cabinet meeting. Buti nga.
Di ba?
So, can you imagine that? And then she was recently, yung pinakahuli, nung ginawa siyang drug, binigay sa kanya yung assignment ng drug war. What did she do? She paraded, she parang nagparada, tapos against drugs. Sino susuko sa'yo nagpaparada ka? I mean, how stupid is that? I mean, everything that she, of course, tinanggal ulit siya doon kasi walang hindi eh. It's all grandstanding rather than helping. Di ba, Rocky?
Kasi ang feeling ko talaga, all of these people are, because nga nag-devolve yung politicians natin na anti-government, yung mga dating nasa taas, humina ang andar ng utak ng lahat. Feeling ko nag-devolve talaga. Very in keeping, di ba? Very in keeping naman sa weaknesses nila, yung mga pinapakita nila. Katulad nung posturing ni Isko na parang minura-mura, inaway-away si Duterte. Yung mga para because the end goal naman nila is popularity.
Yeah.
I think the goal is really popular. It's not really, does she have any clear visionary plan for the government? None. She just wants the position. She's like that. Ito when I was in college, I enjoyed auditioning for plays. But I don't really want to act in a play. Kaligayahan ko lang para pag nakapasa na ako, bye. Kasi I just wanted the validation.
Yeah.
Parang ganon. She just wants to be there because she's looking for the... Sa akin, this is of course just an opinion. I may be wrong, but it's every single detail of what she has shown us in public leads to this conclusion na parang she just wants to be popular.
She just wants to be popular. Kulang
Sa akin,
KSP sa madaling salita, KSP. Oo. So,
Sa akin
Rocky,
yung dating talaga.
oo. Nakita natin yung nangyari doon sa Jessica Soho interview. And guys, it wasn't a debate. Don't call it a debate because nobody practiced the debate. Para siyang game show, kagaya nga ni Rocky, yes or no, blah, blah, blah. So ngayon, Rocky,
diba?
that is horrible. I mean, Professor Carlos, Terita Carlos, did you see her post? See Professor Carlos?
I love her.
I love that. Do we have that? Can we just show that post, Lilibet? I just want a lot of people to see this post na ginawa ni Professor Carlos calling out what happened sa interview ni... Hindi ko pinanood yan, the JS interview, kasi nag-aaksaya lang ako ng panahon. Na-trivialize yung interview na parang ginagawang game show. ikaw ba naman magiging presidente ka tapos puro cute na questions ang tinatanong? Bakit hindi yung malalalim na questions? You look for educated voters and you feed them stupidity. It's a waste of my time to watch these shows.
Savage.
Professor Clarita Carlos herself.
Brutal.
But it's true. Diba? I mean, I couldn't be in a place where Professor Carlos is, but I share this opinion. Right?
Yeah.
Hindi ba? Ano tsaka yung may hawak na placard ng yes and no. What is that? What is that?
Hindi, tsaka,
Buti na lang talaga hindi pumunta si BBM no? Imagine subjecting.
Isipin mo yung game na na isang salita. What are the voters supposed to take away from that? Yeah. What is the intention behind that game? Ano ang magiging take away mo from that game?
Nothing.
'Di ba?
Except to judge them.
Icebreaker yan 'di ba? Icebreaker lang yan. What's the point? What is the point of yung isang salita?
Yeah. And that one, yung isang describe the images I will flash in one word.
Yeah, 'di ba? Anong pwede doon yung yes or no? At saka yung tinanong ni Jessica Soho si Lenny Robredo ng parang anong masasabi mo na hindi na-appreciate ng mga tao ang lugaw mo?
Ang lugaw mo.
What will the voting public take away from that? Job interview daw, 'di ba?
Oo.
Bakit nag-apply ba siya for FMCG, 'di ba? Or is she applying in the food? Ano ang key take away mo doon? On a presidential level, on a presidential level, are we to assume that her response will be allegorical or metaphorical yun? Lugaw represents the hunger or the plight of the Filipino. Ganun ba yun?
Of course, you didn't think about it that way. Again.
Diba?
Pero yung mga tanong kay Isko, kay Ping,
diba? Grabe, no?
kay Pacquiao, medyo mabibigat pa. Pagdating sa kanya about lugaw, lugaw?
Yun nga, of all the things that happened in that entire lengthy show, as a voter, ano ang key takeaway mo doon? How did that improve your understanding of these people on the issues?
Yeah.
'Di ba? Wala talaga. As in, there's nothing. There was nothing. Wala
kang mababaon Wala kang mababaon.
At saka, diba?
Tapos nakakatawa, a lot of the Dilawan supporters call the interview monumental. They call it, ano nangyari? As you were describing them kanina.
Kung gano'n yan, kung monumental, at saka may content, bakit wala tayong nakikitang sound bites? Bakit walang sound bites na umiikot?
Yeah, and they only talk about BBM's non-attendance.
The myth, the man, the legend, no? Mas lalong strengthen yung the mystery behind the brand.
I don't know if you saw the interview of Jessica Soho with BBM in 2011. I don't know if you've seen that. She was rude.
Hindi, tsaka alam mo, she went into the interview trying to paint him into a corner. Si BBM rin naman, at that point in time, maybe he was a younger man then, nakita mo na parang pagod na rin doon sa issue. Parang exasperating why. Yun rin yung, I think, personally, I think this is another reason na parang why BBM decided not to attend. Yung mga issues against the Marcos family, yung historical issues against the Marcos family are all legal issues. They're all legal issues and the responses are nuanced. Heavily nuanced yung mga answers to those issues. Hindi siya as simple as, oo, hindi.
Yeah.
China, Chinese flag. America, American flag. Hindi ganun kasimple ang response dun sa mga tanong sa kanya. For example, masasabi mo ba na convicted ang pamilya ninyo or ang nanay mo? Let's say the nanay na lang. Are you willing to concede na convicted ang nanay mo? Legally, yes, may conviction siya. But since it is under appeal and it is not final and executory, they effectively parang Schrodinger's cat. It's convicted pero not convicted dahil hindi pa final and executory. Complicated yung sagot because it is a heavily nuanced topic. Tapos bibigyan ka ng one word lang, sasagutin mo lang ng one word, sagutin mo lang ng yes or no. Ano? There is no way for him to actually respond. Maski yung mga tinanong ni Jessica Soho sa kanya nung that old issue, ang sa akin, yung mga big issues nga kay BBM na hindi talaga, I think it is important or incumbent upon someone like me, na supporter, to be able to convince and to make the public understand that unexplained wealth does not automatically mean ill-gotten wealth. They're not automatically the same because hindi ma-explain automatically ill-gotten or illegally gotten. Just because you cannot explain it or because the person is not willing to explain it automatically ill-gotten, hindi pwede. So yung mga hinaharp nila na ill-gotten wealth, not necessarily. Nag-summary judgment man, that means hindi sila binigyan ng opportunity to defend. Diba? Nag-summary judgment dito sa Philippines during the time of Cory. Of course, we know how politics works. Within the three branches of government, whoever's in power gets to decide, diba? The king on the throne gets to decide kung ano priority bill, kung ano mga kaso na uunahin. Kung talagang papalusutin yung kaso, nag-summary judgment ng napakaraming kaso against the Marcoses, which means what? They were not allowed a trial.
But the funny thing is, dun sa maraming kaso, maraming akwetal.
Of course, because dun sa mga kaso na yun, binigyan sila ng chance to defend themselves.
And nagkaroon na akwetal. And so, ano-anong kinukuha? Nakakatawa na nga yung sinabi ni Bongbong in one of his panel interviews. I don't know where he was. Nakita ko lang yun online. Sinabi niya, pag may nakita kayong hidden wealth, inyo na. Umabot na siya sa ganon eh.
Nakakapagod. Diba? Ang hirap talaga sagutin. Dahil kasi nuance yung mga answers.
Di ba? Sabi nyo, hidden wealth. O pag nakita nyo yung hidden wealth, inyo na. Umabot na siya sa ganong chika. Yung parang,
lumabas na sa Jessica Soho interview na yun, di ba? There are billions or mga Swiss bank accounts. Sabi ni Bibi, saan? Asan yung mga billion na sinasabi? Yung freeze na bank account, hindi man lang nag-amount to 1 billion. Kasi ang kiniklaim nyo, tumakbo with hundreds of billions. Paano?
Hundreds
saan?
of billions.
Hindi nga mahanap kung nasaan yung mga yan. Di ba?
Paano mo makahanap ang wala? Hindi ba?
Yun nga, diba?
Parang sabi ko nga, 58 billion pesos ba yun? Or $58 billion. If you have $58 billion, it's like, sinabi ko before, you have a giraffe in your backyard and you deny that it's there.
Diba?
Diba? Parang, what the hell? Sino hindi makakita ng $58 billion? Can you imagine that?
Exactly.
Narrative.
At saka yung sinasabi ng mga tao na you are the son of a criminal. You're the son of a criminal, ganyan. Wala namang conviction.
Walang conviction.
And
Walang
hindi
criminal
na
conviction.
Kasi patay na yung tao.
Oo. Sana kinasuhan habang buhay pa, di ba? Kinasuhan kahit sa New York, nagkaroon ng kaso for, I forgot which it was, yung kaso niya sa New York ni Imelda, she was acquitted for lack of evidence.
Diba?
Yeah, for lack of evidence, that case of century, nanalo si Imelda. So, paano?
Ako feeling ko talaga, they waited. Of course, in the guise na naghahanap pa lang ng information, in the guise of looking for information and data, feeling ko they really waited for the strong man to pass away para hindi masagot, para hindi ma-exonerate from all of these allegations against him. I could be wrong, but that's just my guess.
Well, you could be right. Well, anyway, Rocky, pupunta tayo ngayon sa mga comments ng ating mga ka-3PM, ng ating mga audience. Comments and questions. We are in that part now. We are in that portion now of our talk. Can we have them, Lilibet, Mac? Sponsors backed out daw upon knowing BBM declined. Is this true? Well, is this true?
I see this a lot. I also read this in one of those, kasi I'm in several political chat groups, some with heavy hitters in government. I saw that there. Someone shared that na tama ba? Parang they're floating the amount of 30 million daw, di ba? Parang ganyan. 30
28 to
million
30 million.
parang ganyan, di ba? That's the amount that's being floated around on social media na parang 30 million worth of sponsorship did not push through because BBM declined. Ako, I cannot say that. I cannot say. Actually, I don't think anyone can say anymore. Dahil kasi, of course, I'm sure yung team behind the show ni Jessica so approached a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm sure they approached a lot of big sponsors. And then I feel like a lot of people committed early on. And we cannot definitively say na itong mga nawala. Dahil kasi nawala si BBM. Baka naman yung iba nakita, ay, anong kwenta naman nitong isang salita, nitong yes or no? Baka doon pa lang nag-back out na.
Oo. So maraming factors maraming factors to back out from that program, from that show.
Lalo na nakita na natin siya ngayon. Kung ako yan, hindi ako tataya ng 1 peso doon. Diyos ko naman.
Parang it's walang substance yung palabas.
Parang mababawasan yung neurons ko doon sa pag pinanood ko siya, pag tinapos ko yun.
I know. Do we have another one? Hi, Fred. Thank you for the question. Pangsiw, hi, Pangsiw. Lipas na yung panahon ni Lacson, in my opinion, also dismayed about his stance on NTF-ELCAC. For a soldier, si Lacson, medyo disappointing ang stand niya about NTF-ELCAC.
Yeah. Ako dyan ako nahihirapan with Isko and with Lacson. And of course, Lenny. Kasi sa akin, in politics, I only have 2 pet peeves. Dalawa lang talagang issues na that weigh heavily on me when deciding on a candidate. First is drugs, illegal drugs.
Yeah, of course.
And the second is communism and terrorism.
Communist insurgency. Yeah.
Yan. Those are my 2 biggest issues. Their position on those 2 issues will decide who to support. Ako, ito yung issue ko with Lacson also, yung sa NTF-ELCAC. Dahil kasi napakadaming magandang nagagawa niyan on a barangay level. For those
I had on my show, Rocky, just for your information, Undersecretary Badoy, and we extensively talked about NTF-ELCAC. We had Attorney Marlon, yung legal counsel ng NTF-ELCAC. We talked about it also. And we had Kaamihan, who's a big participant dyan sa NTF-ELCAC projects. And we talked about how wonderful the barangay development projects of NTF-ELCAC are. So, for you, kaya ang ganda na sinabi ni BBM, pardon us, not just because we support him because of this. Ang sinabi niya, we should invest in success. Right? NTF-ELCAC is a very successful... Yeah, Parlade. We had General Parlade in our show.
Him through the Comelec.
Yeah. Pero we had him in the show.
Kasi can you imagine, even Lenny Robredo changed her position, biglang pro-NTF-ELCAC na siya. Diba?
Yeah, samantalang ang una niyang statement, i-abolish yung NTF-ELCAC pag naging presidente siya.
Kasi nga, hindi siya aware sa mga nangyayari outside their echo chamber.
Yeah, my gosh. Thank you, Pangsiw, sa iyong tanong. Do we have more, guys? Kusina ni Pops. Hi, Kusina ni Pops. Traditional media has been substantially marginalized and will continue their tailspin as more and more people find vloggers more credible and true vanguards of the truth. Alam mo, kaya naman tayo naging ganito, Rocky, di ba? Because we only want to give out what mainstream media is no longer giving us. Right?
Yeah. At saka kasi the reality is, society has moved on, has progressed. Mainstream media cannot be everywhere at once. And there is really a need within the market, or really need within the society for mainstream media. Actually, they should have aligned. They should have absorbed social media, the bloggers. They should have created a harmonious environment where they can work symbiotically together.
Yeah.
Kasi you cannot be everywhere at once. And there will always be someone where you're not at, and something momentous is happening or something significant is happening. 'Di ba? Basic law of
Yeah.
science yan, 'di ba? No two people can occupy the same space at the same time. So we can be watching the same thing and we can be seeing it from two totally different. We will of course
Different.
automatically see it from two totally different angles. And that is important in
Yes.
making an informed decision, which is the role of
Precisely.
media.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Kusina Pops, for your question. Do you think Soho is an intelligent journalist? I never really have the inclination to have respect for Jessica Soho, really. Ikaw ba? Ever since, ha?
Ako, ako kasi I think she is. She's smart. The problem I think kasi is that when a person feels threatened or painted into a corner, nagiging irrational. And of course, hindi mo rin matatanggal na every person is partisan. Wala naman talagang no one lives in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Every single cell of your body makes a choice, has a bias, has a prejudice.
Mm-hmm. Of
She
course.
deserves the right to have her biases and prejudices also, in the same way that Bongbong Marcos and his team, knowing her biases, has the right to refuse being subjected to torture. to online torture, di ba?
Yeah. True. Pinoys are intrinsically non-confrontational. Who do you think will be able to ask the tila hard questions during these forums? Uh, ikaw.
So they're asking for sinong journalist or
Who could
vlogger.
be? Who could be? Yeah.
Maraming magagalit, maraming maiinis. Because itong problem kasi, journalists are trained to ask questions na are supposed to be newsworthy.
Yeah.
But the problem is, not just Philippines, but the mainstream media are also trained to ask leading questions na. And
Wala
the
namang
problem
masama
with
doon.
that,
Wala namang masama.
wala namang masama doon. Pero,
Mm-mm.
yun na nga, ang ending niyan, people who know that they will be attacked on the show, what's the point? Ano mangyayari niyan? Hindi tuloy balance yung show. So, ang
Mm-mm.
kailangan natin, I think the safest way to go about it para we get a more holistic view of all of our candidates is, I think, the person who went the right way about it is yung DZRH interview. The third, di ba? Third leg yan.
Yeah.
Soho, Boy Abunda, and then the DZRH
The
interview. Kasi
DZRH.
panel.
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 Yes.
So, merong magiging
Panel.
pro, may magiging anti, magkakaroon ng balance yung conversation.
Yes.
So, I
Not
think
just
the
one
way to go about it
person,
is panel.
Pops. Yeah. At sinuggest din niya ni Professor Carlos Sinabi niya in one of her posts, sinabi niya that there should be a panel of, she used a word, I just forget now. Parang scholars, I think that's what
Yeah.
she used. A panel of scholars to ask questions that should be asked to these presidential balls. Because yan ang totoong job interview, because you are going to be hearing it from people whose minds are in the right place.
Or kung gusto nila ng one host lang, vetted na yung questions. These are questions that have been vetted by a panel.
By a
Kasi baka
panel,
naman
yeah.
gusto lang natin parang Q&A, di ba? Ganyan, parang Miss Universe, ganyan, di ba? Parang hindi naman game show, di ba? Pageant naman.
Yeah.
Ganyan.
That game show concept's really, really beyond anything
Because I think
nice.
I think any talk show host, whether they're journalist or not, has the capacity to ask the real hard questions.
Yeah.
They can.
Yeah.
Si Boy Abunda has always been, kaya valid naman that he interviews. Although of course, we see him primarily as an entertainment personality and an entertainment host. But he has the capacity to make people think. And he has the capacity to ask questions that are able to bring out information, di ba? Ang importante lang are that the questions themselves have already been vetted by a panel of people na baka nga walang hindi nga pro eh. Kahit nga kumuha tayo ang panel natin is isang anti-BBM, isang anti-Lenny, isang anti-Isko, isang anti-Ping, isang
Yeah,
anti-Lenny.
yeah.
Di gumawa kayo ng
Go to
katanong.
ABL. Do you know
Diba?
the Facebook page ABL?
Yeah.
It used to be anyone but Lenny, but now minas report ng
Yeah.
mga dilawan, so natanggal. Ang page na ngayon is all about beauty. ABL, a beautiful life. A beautiful life na yung kanyang pangalan. But of course, in just
But the
24
content is still the
hours,
same.
nag-30,000 the members from the original page swarmed into the new page. Yun, punta ka ng ABL, nandun yung mga makalakson, nandun yung mga anti-BBM, anti-Isko, kompleto doon. Pero yung mga supporters si Lenny, they tried getting in but they got bashed. So they mass reported the the page.
Kasi naman the candidate is already one interesting personality. The followers are also caricatures.
I know. But that's very interesting if you go to the page of ABL because everyone's there having a good time. Maganda yung disposition ng mga tao. Yung, parang shout out to
I remember
A Beautiful
someone
Life.
posted this nga on that page na parang actually si Lenny ang unifying president. Everyone is united against her.
Yan, mga ganyan. Mga
diba? Everyone's united against her. Yung mga Lacson, BBM, Manny Pacquiao, and Isko Moreno supporters are now holding hands together.
Yeah.
And
I know.
their dislike for her.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the one who created the page, but congratulations to you.
Christine Cunanan.
Yun, Christine Cunanan. Congratulations
Apparently
to you.
a friend of Miss Crisette Laureta Chu.
I was asking Emil nga to call her and be in the show because I would want to really speak with her because napakaganda ng ginawa niya. Talaga
She speaks
people.
well, Sino? Si Miss Christine Cunanan or si Crisette?
Si Christine Cunanan, the one who created ABL.
Actually, interesting rin si Thea Tan, if you're looking for someone to interview. Thea Tan is a very famous personality on Twitter naman, Twitter warrior.
Okay, I don't do much of Twitter anymore. I got blocked by everybody, by everyone who
so
I'm
you
supposed
can't
to
read
be.
anything anymore.
Yeah. So what's the point? Anyway, let's have another one. Thank you, Pops. Thank you. Guys, maraming salamat sa inyo mga katanungan, mga 3PM. Rocky, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much for sharing. Abunda also sa capacity to make a Miss Universe winner. Well, yeah.
Why not?
Why not? So, Rocky, sa panghuling tanong na lang, yung bilang isang mamamayan, syempre ikaw, nakikita kita how you observe everything politically, nababasa ko ang mga sinusulat mo. Kung nasaan ka ngayon, saan mo gusto pumunta ang mga tao pagdating sa discernment of who to really vote for in the coming election?
I'm sorry, teka. What do you mean by pumunta?
I mean, saan sila dapat tumingin? Yung pagiging
what to look for in a candidate? Ganon?
Yeah. To whom to vote for. Ano ang dapat nilang tingnan? Other than popularity, other than the name?
Ang kasi, the elections talaga by design do not give you an opportunity to really learn or understand a candidate. Filipinos rely heavily on gut feel, di ba? Heuristic judgment. Pero if you were to look for a person, the way I decide whom to vote for is a process of elimination. Ano yan the Arthur Conan Doyle way of deduction, Sherlock Holmes style. Process of deduction, yung most unlikely, nire-remove na. Tapos may matitira. Now, I vet them against each other. Sino kasi I already have a vision what I want the Philippines. I feel what what I feel personally the Philippines should be focused on. Sino mag-a-align? So ako, for example, nakita ko na parang may umpisa na ang infrastructure. Sino magka-continue niyan? Nag-umpisa na ang rehabilitation of the insurgency problem. How do we tackle this? Kasi syempre everything at the start is always going to be bloody, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be war. Sino ang merong proposal that is at the rehabilitation stage? NTF-LCAC is a rehabilitation program eh.
Yes.
So which is why it is very critical because those people who have gone back into the fold have decided to leave being their life as a criminal insurgent, a terrorist. They are given an opportunity to live a productive life, slowly being reintroduced into society. Sino ang merong ganyang program na next step na?
Yeah.
May starting off point na eh.
Mm.
Sino rin ang may clear vision? Sabi ko nga doon sa mga taong umaatake sa akin, why BBM? Wala akong nakikitang platform. Puro mystery, puro myth, puro legend. Sabi ko, with BBM, why I chose BBM? My personal choice is BBM. Why? Because the vision, the platform, is not difficult anymore. Why? Because when Ferdinand Marcos left, ito sinasabi nila, wag nating ipasa sa anak yung kagalingan ng anak. Pero hindi naman natin sinasabi na pinasa yung talino. Hindi naman natin sinasabi na pinasa yung will. Ang sinasabi natin, nag-create ng actual physical blueprint. Documents on build was patterned after a plan created by Ferdinand Marcos. The extension of the MRTs and subway system is part of the 30-year plan ng mga Marcoses. There is no need to reinvent the wheel, kumbaga. Nandiyan na yung vision. Kailangan, what I am looking for is a person who can implement this vision. Which is also why I feel na lacking dyan si Isko. Dahil kasi meron ng, does he see where when you invest in something, you don't expect ROI at the beginning. You expect it after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, depending on how big the project is. When a new president is sworn in or sits in Malacanang, does he see where all of these small projects are leading to in 5 years, in 10 years, di ba? And will he be able to invest continuously in them to see it through till its fruition, till its ending? Katulad niya, nung umupo si Cory, pinatay ang batasan, power plant, nuclear plant.
Yeah.
That could have freed us from indebtedness, freed us from being anchored on the Middle East for power, yung ganon, di ba? Who can see that vision? Who has the disposition also to be able to calmly unify the country? Feeling ko kasi towards the end, Duterte was trying his best to unify kasi he won na eh. Tapos na.
Yeah.
Tapos na yung gera. Majority na. He won by a plurality, pero ang dami nag-convert, particularly first 2 years, nag-join the Duterte bandwagon. Tapos na eh. There was really an attempt to unify. But of course, there are people na ayaw pakawalan.
Who refuse, yeah.
Yung mga tanim nilang galit, the same person na ayaw pakawalan yung being opposition president, na sana na-unite na sila under Isko. Parang ganyan, di ba? So, sino ang willing? And for all of the demonizing that the Marcoses have been going through for the past 35 years.
35 years.
Sila lang talaga ang temperate enough, level-headed enough, calm enough, maintain their poise as much as they can. Kasi kanina I was watching a YouTube video nung ini-interview si Bongbong, kasama niya si the wife, Mrs. Lisa Araneta Marcos, na galit na rin siya pero bata pa ni Bongbong doon. Gwapo pa talaga. I'm guessing he was in his 30s. Na parang sila lang ang temperate enough and willing to actually unify the country.
Yeah.
So ako yun, ang feeling ko is you look for someone who is willing to work with others because the presidency is not a one-man job.
Yes.
It's not a one-man job. Who is the person who is willing which is also the upside to Duterte. He was willing to work with people who were far left.
Yeah.
Andyan si
He gave them the chance. He gave
andyan si
them the
Kadiwalo,
chance.
andyan si Mariano,
Yeah.
sino nga yung
Yeah.
ano natin, Ched?
Uh, Briones.
Briones, di ba?
Yeah.
Pinaupo, di ba?
Yeah.
Yung willing to work with everyone. He even revisited talks with Joma Sison at the beginning, di ba? An attempt.
Yeah.
Sino
But,
ang
of course,
willing?
being the way they are, nagtraidor na
Yeah.
naman sa usapan.
Being predictable the way they are. Diba?
Yeah.
Ako, feeling ko yun, sa akin, that's what I look for. First is, I eliminate the most unlikely candidates. And when I am left with one or two, hopefully one, pero when I'm left with two, kasi even my followers know na it took me all the way until early December to decide BBM. I've always been a Marcos loyalist, but then something happened and Isko showed promise. He did. But then after deliberation, close inspection, and seeing what happens behind the scenes, particularly with the Isko camp, parang I decided it's not yet time for him. He needs to learn a lot more before he can actually effectively hold that seat, sit in Malacanang. So yun, you look for the most unlikely, weed them out. Whatever you're left with, you vet them with each other and what the needs of the country is, where we're heading towards.
Precisely. The need of the country. Yeah. Yeah. And ang parting words mo to our esteemed mainstream media industry?
Ako ang feeling ko that they should be able to work with others. Do not, if you want social media to elevate the level of conversation, yun yung gusto nila eh. Parang that's how they perceive social media, particularly those who are full-time bloggers and vloggers. Yun yung career. And then you work with them. You conduct seminars with them. The only way to uplift a person is to legitimize them. Para may checks and balances. If you want to regulate them, then you embrace them and bring them into the field. Diba? If that is what you want, if parang you all fall under the same manner of the same code of ethics and all of that, then you embrace them and bring them into the fold. The more you push them away, the more you alienate them, then the more they are free to do whatever they want.
But do you not like the separation between the mainstream media and the social media practitioners?
I'm fine either way. Kasi it provides different points of view. Diba? Ang babalikan ko nga isang question kanina. If online, sino ang reliable na mga personalities? I don't know if you noticed, but there is a pronounced rise in lawyers who vlog. Ang daming lawyer vloggers, ang daming lawyer TikTokers, ang daming doctor TikTokers and Facebook vloggers and YouTube personalities na lawyers and doctors. Now you know that these people have a job outside of media. And you know that if they do something erroneous or malicious online, they will be held accountable by their
peers,
true profession, which is being a doctor or being a lawyer. Stand to lose their licenses. So you know that whatever they're saying is valid.
Precisely.
So you look to them.
Yeah.
Ang problem rin, kaya nga kung gusto nilang illegitimize, the problem with, but when I say mainstream media should learn to work or play with others, kung hindi illegitimize, at least learn to work with them. Huwag niyong awayin. Diba? What's the point of fighting with them?
Yeah, inaaway tuloy din natin sila.
We
have fun.
Play with others. Learn to share the playground, diba?
Precisely. Ang laki-laki ng playground. We can all play together.
Don't be bullies, diba?
I know, right?
The more you bully, the more na nawawala yung power ninyo. Then kasi at present time, there are more
people
one likes
who follow
social media than TradMed na. Of course, the limitation there is yung access to internet, di ba? Yun yung difference.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the market of people who have access to internet.
Yes,
Yung
yes,
market
yes.
na yun, captured na ng social media personalities, hindi na ng treadmill.
Yeah.
Pero
Yeah.
if we talk about yung nasa dulo ng bundok, edi syempre, radyo, di ba? Or nasa karagatan, ganyan. Radyo yan.
Yeah. Well, maraming salamat, Rocky, sa insights mo. It's a pleasure to have you here. I hope this is not going to be the last. When sa init ng kampanya, we will have you again because we want to have your opinions on so many things. I'm sure maraming issues ang lalabas come the real campaign period.
Hmm.
Diba?
Thank you too for
Thank you
having me
very
on your
much,
show.
Rocky. Thank you very much. We had
Good night.
fun having you in our program. God bless you and be safe.
Be safe.
Ingat-ingat tayo. Sana bumaba na ang Omicron. Thank you,
Correct.
Rocky. Thank
Good
you very
night,
much. Ladies and
everyone.
gentlemen,
Thank you for
Rocky
having me.
Gonzalez.
Night, Peter.
Bye. Thank you. There you have it. Ang separation, para ang mas napag-usapan natin is the personalities running for presidents and the separation between mainstream media and social media. Ako, okay na ako where we are. Yung separation ng social media practitioners up against the mainstream media. Kasi ang linaw talaga ng gusto nilang mangyari. Ang gusto lang nilang mangyari, unang-una, from 2016, pabagsakin ang gobyerno ni Duterte. At ngayon, ang gusto nilang mangyari, pabagsakin ang kandidatura ni BBM. Of course, we are not just going to sit down and watch it happen. We're going to fight for it. Ang sabi nga ni Doc Wee, yung isang kasama ko sa Team Maldita, we're going to fight tooth and nail over this and we're going to bring home the prize. Yun naman ang sagot ko sa post niya. And it's so hard to have the mainstream media up against them kasi we used to look up to them eh. Sila ang source of information natin from before and now they're just showing us what they're made of and it's not nice what we are seeing. And when it comes, yung huling question ko kay Rocky, when it comes to choosing a president, we really need to look at what our country needs. Who is the most capable and able to run the country? Ako, I choose BBM not because for his name. I used to be a Marcos hater. But looking at Bongbong Marcos, how he presents himself, how he conducts his manners, how he presents his platforms, go to his Facebook page and watch everything that he has to say there. He makes sense. And I know that he will make a very good leader. He will make a very good leader. Sure ako doon. Together with Inday Sara Duterte beside him, I don't think we could ever go wrong choosing the uni team. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, salamat po sa inyong pagnood sa amin. Salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay, sa pag-participate sa discussion. At please don't forget to share, like, and follow our YouTube page, 3 p.m. Pilipinas muna, in our Facebook. That's YouTube channel and our Facebook page, 3 p.m. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, Pilipinas muna. So on that note, as I always say at the end of my show, iisa lang ang ating bayan na dapat nating alagaan. Kaya't bago ang ano paman, bago ang sarili, Pilipinas muna. Gandang gabi po.